I wonder if we could converse, have a conversation about dimensions. What if you'd consider that there are two dimensions to our reality, to our way of being, if you will, on planet Earth? There's that if you will again. One is the dimension of creation, intelligence, and truth, which is reality, which is what is real. And the other one is knowledge, thought, and belief, which we've been looking at here recently. If you've been watching any of this almost 60 series of videos that I've been doing about this, finding out if it's possible to actually actualize the transformation of our lives. And this is simply a different way of speaking about it. The two-dimensional or two dimensions way of speaking about it. Hello, Jillian. Good to see you're here. It's all the way over there. I guess I ought to bring it over here. So, the two dimensions that I've mentioned have a diabolically opposed context. The context of creation, intelligence, and truth, of course, is reality, as I've already said. The context of knowledge, thought, and belief is a dream world. It's a world invented by knowledge, thought, and belief. The manner in which you can transform, move from one dimension to the other, has to do with the thing that you would do once it happens. So you would end up doing the very thing that started you off on your experiment, if you will. There's that if you will again. And that happening, that doing, is truth, speaking the truth. And as I've suggested before, there's almost no thing more difficult to discover or to do than to speak the truth, because this is a world controlled by, and that has us under its control and training. Lie, steal, cheat. That's the basis, the core of this dimension or consciousness, if you will. There's two dimensions and two consciousnesses. One consciousness has its core in violence, the consciousness of knowledge, thought, and belief is based on violence because it is all of the past. If you look at knowledge, you realize knowledge is something that we already know. If we already know it, then it's of the past. Thought is something that comes from language, which was developed thousands of years ago and has been redeveloping itself for thousands of years. And then belief is the mirror image of the truth. People substitute belief for the truth. As a matter of fact, belief in a world of lie, steal, cheat, knowledge-filled thought people is really more important than and overrides truth. People who believe things, then later hear the truth, they just negate, ignore, throw the truth away and stick with their belief. So the word truth has an interesting attachment to it that I put on it, actually. I call it a bridge. The word truth is a bridge that you can use to cross into the dimension of creation in intelligence, which includes truth. The truth spreads itself across this bridge, across this, it's a quantum leap, quantum movement, if you will. There's a huge, if you will there, huge chasm in between. That chasm happens to be insanity, so you wouldn't want to drop into it, would you? So the movement or possibility for the movement into the dimension of intelligence, the dimension of creation, is utilizing the truth, because it's the bridge. It goes from one dimension to the other. However, when it hits the dimension of knowledge, thought, and belief, it disappears. It's actually, I have a word for it, if you will. I sure like that, if you will. The word that I have for it is distinction. Distinction is the smallest part of judgment. When you judge, then you are just simply throwing rocks or stones or cutting somebody down to make you look up. Anytime you hear people calling people names and assigning nonsensical names to them, like our president does, calling Sleepy Joe and Lion Ted and Crooked Hill, all those things, they're meant, and they actually work in a world of knowledge, thought, and belief, they're meant to make the one calling the names up here, and once he's naming down there, to make him, or the person doing it, not just him, anybody, elevate them. So this thing I'm speaking about, at this point at least, is distinction. Distinction is the smallest part of the truth. I mean, of judgment, pardon me. I messed that up. The smallest part of judgment is distinction. It's the truth that is within the lie. This can get really convoluted, so I need to go really slow here. Within every lie, there must be a truth in order for the lie to die. In every truth, there must be a lie in order for the truth to die and grow, ever moving us into a perfect society. So here's my suggestion. We're coming up on 10 minutes. I better wrap it up here pretty quickly. If you care to discover, if you care to transform your life, if you care to move from one dimension, the dimension of the dream, the lie, steal, cheat, the world of knowledge, thought, and belief, into reality, the real world of creation, intelligence, and truth. There are even those people who call that God's world, but my word is creation, intelligence, and truth. In that world, there are no raped women. There are no wars. There's no guns. There's no bullets. There's no people who are right and people who are wrong. There's no good and bad. There's only ecstasy. There's only us perfecting ourself. The only manner in which we can perfect ourself is through the discovery of our flaw. And then the speaking the truth of our flaw. Once you speak the truth of your flaw, that transforms the flaw, eradicates it, erases it, removes it. And it creates a new you, a new perfect, a new human being. So Jillian, I'm delighted to see you're here. Gonna have to figure out how we can have people talk when they're here, I guess. I don't know. At any rate, a perfect experience of creation, intelligence, and truth is sent to you, each, who are listening to this. And thereby negating knowledge, thought, and belief. Not negating it as in never to be used, meaning to say use when needed, put it to the side when you don't need it. Sort of like driving a nail. When you drive a nail, you need a hammer. And when the nail is driven, then you put the hammer down. Anyway, that's another conversation we could have. Uh-oh. There we go. Now I can end it.